It's a competition clinching shot. Whoa! How about that?
The LET Golf Podcast, the official podcast of the Ladies European Tour.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the LET Golf Podcast. I'm George Cooper here with Nicola Kenton, and it's the week of the KPMG Women's Irish Open. So, who better to join us? The defending champion, Klara Davidson Spilkova. Klara, how are you doing?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for joining us. And I mean, how special does that sound? Defending champion, you're back in Ireland. Just tell us what that means.
It means a lot, to be honest. I mean, it's just nice to be back in Ireland, and I said that many times, but everybody's very friendly and very hospitable, and it's just really nice to stay at the castle as well. So, yeah, I mean, everybody's like really just happy to have us here. I'm very grateful, and they're also like very curious, but also respectful at the same time. So it's just been a really, really week to be back, and hopefully the weather stays good for us. The course looks it looks like it's in a really good shape. So. Yeah, it's just really lovely to be back, to be honest.
Yeah, I saw you were at was it the players' party last night or something inside the castle? It looked
Yeah,
pretty
very
impressive. How was that?
It was great. Yeah, the food was good, and actually I get to meet a lot of people here. You know, last year I get to literally meet everybody right at the 18th green, and everybody remembers me. So it's like crazy. Like I feel like I know everybody here. It's just so nice. It feels almost like a home event, even though I'm not home. But yeah, it's just really nice to be back.
And just tell us about last year then. I know I was listening to your press conference yesterday and you were saying you can remember every shot and the memories are really vivid. So obviously a playoff victory against Ursula and Nicole. Just tell us about that week. I mean, coming into it, what do you think went well for you that week? I know you had your now husband on the bag, but just tell us in particular, what was it that week? What do you think that got you over the line?
I think I just made a lot of birdies, looking back. And I was quite consistent, I think, of the tee. And yeah, I was just like really stayed in the present and accepting, like really, really good with accepting every shot and just every situation because, there are some holes that are kind of tricky or a little tight and you can end up in a bad spot. I think the only round it was a little bit tougher was the third round when it was just hard. I feel like because I remember it was quite windy. And there was just a really, because I was everywhere for a couple holes and it's just like hard to be able to accept it and move on, and still like believe in myself. But then the last round went really well, especially the back nine. I was like hitting really well and made a couple putts and yeah, and obviously that shot on 17, like it was crazy because on 16 I actually made birdie and I was like, wow, I can really like do this, and then it's crazy, it's just golf. And then on 17 I hit in the water, right? And I was like, but then as soon as like my mind went down, it's like, no, like you can still do this. Like I don't know how, but you can still like it's there for you, and it's just like the mindset was really important. And actually I did make a par from like the crazy up and down I had from the mud and the water and then made another birdie in 18 and that actually made me play the playoff. And then I feel like the playoff I totally blacked out. And I remember like Sean being kind of nervous, because I could feel he was like nervous, and I was like, "It's fine, don't worry, I got it." I've been in the playoff before, like I know how to do it. So I think obviously the mindset was like the key to the whole thing. I think especially the back nine, the last day.
Yeah, I was going to ask that how nervous were you going into that playoff, but you've just said that it sounded like Sean was a nervous one. I mean,
Yeah,
how is it
maybe it
going,
was.
especially a freeway playoff? It's a different scenario, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess I lost in playoff actually in Morocco. The next year I was the defending champion, and it's still like I guess it just stayed in my mind somehow because it was kind of a hard loss. And so I was like, well, I still remember that moment when I lost. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna allow myself to do this again. I really like just that experience from Morocco really helped me to stand up for myself in that moment And obviously, like, to be honest, like hitting that 3 wood into the green, which was like 200 yards or like 210 yards, and that green, like, I I look at the green yesterday, it's so tight. It's like bunker on the left, there's water on the right, there's a fall off. And I was like, oh my God, like I hit such a good shot, you know. It almost made me like emotional now on the last hole yesterday, just playing, because I was like, wow, like I did so good, you know. And to just like be able to acknowledge this, I think it's really important. So yeah, just looking back at the whole thing, I just played really solid, and I was just really strong mentally, I feel, in that moment. So good, yeah.
Yeah, and just final one then, going back to that shot on 17. I mean, it was like shoes off, socks off. Was that your idea? Did you, when you're walking up and approaching it, was it like, okay, this is how I'm going to approach the shot? Like I watched it back today, and I'm curious, like who's this? What was the decision making process like for that shot, that crazy up and down?
Well, I think like the ball was kind of, because it's hard to see from the camera, but the ball was like sitting up on the mud. So that like when you see lie like this, y and you think you can do it, like you go for it, right? Just because you get muddy and you get messy doesn't mean you don't go there and you try to hit the shot, right? So it's like it was disgusting, to be honest. It was like really, really muddy, and like the thing was that there was like a soft mud. So like my like I don't know, like up to the knees I was in the mud, like it's crazy. Um yeah, but I felt like the ball was just like sitting up, and I was like, oh God, I'll just try to hit it like a bunker shot and just get it somewhere up there on the green, and I don't know, I just hit it, and then people start clapping and like go crazy, and I was like, okay, well, I guess it's okay, it's somewhere on the green, and it was actually like a 2 meter putt for a par, so I was like, okay, I'll take it, you know. But as a player in this situation, if you see that the ball's like sitting well, or it's in a good, you know, it's playable, you always go for it. It's- no doubt.
Especially
Yeah.
when it's what, second last hole and you got a trophy on the line. There's a great
Yeah.
shot. And then just on this season, I know you come in now as a defending champion this week, but just how would you assess the season so far? I know you're sixth in the race to Costa del Sol. You've just missed one cut, which was at the Amundiavian Championship, which is a really impressive record. Just tell us, how would you
Mm.
assess this season?
Um, yeah, I mean, I was kind of happy with the beginning of the season, because as I said before, I mean, uh, usually the beginning of the season is not the greatest for me. It's just how it's been. I don't know why, but this season's been really good from the beginning, which is like really grateful for. And I would say I made a lot of cuts since last summer, so like I didn't really have much time off. You know, it's like I literally keep playing, every weekend. So it's just little bit tiring, to be honest. And I mean, thanks God, we have a lot of tournaments. You know, past year and this year, and I don't know, just being grateful to be also back in Europe and feel a little bit more rooted and a little bit closer to my friends, to my family. And yeah, being back in Prague, it's just been different from, you know, what I experienced the last 4 years in LPGA, because I was pretty lonely out there. And it was a struggle, quite a bit. So, you know, just that nice feeling to being able to be back home with my closest, you know, friends and family. It's been great. So yeah.
And as we always do on the LET Golf podcast, we're going to go back to the start of your career, Klara. So, the first time that you picked up a golf club. So, I believe that your brother Lucas had something to do with it. Was it him who started to get you involved in golf?
Yeah, I was actually 4. So you mean going back to,
Yeah, right back to
The
okay,
the
the
start of your
beginning.
journey, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I was 4, so I don't know. It was kind of random, because like my brother, he was playing basketball at that time. He wasn't really good at like a team sport, so my parents like, okay, we need to find him something, like 'cause he was sitting on the bench all the time and he would never pass to anybody. It's like, very individualistic approach. So we're like, okay, we need something that's like a little bit more individual. And then yeah, he had this idea to pick up golf. And yeah, I mean, I always want to do what I always want as a kid. He's my older brother, so he's like my hero. So I always wanted to do the same things. So yeah, we just went to a course, and we got kind of lucky after the revolution and communism. It's not very common in our country. We obviously had some courses that they stayed open during these times, but it wasn't very common sport. But it kind of became in the 90s kind of like a popular sport in the early 2000s. So there are a lot of courses were built in our country, and now we have a lot of courses actually for not such a big country, but yeah, we have some really nice courses, and the sport is growing. So it's just really lucky to actually pick up the sport after the revolution, because nobody could really play before the 89. So it's just yeah, it's just I guess coincidence, or I just some destiny. I always feel like I feel like almost like the sport picked me, like in a sense, because I was so young. Like this is something I really always liked doing, and just really grateful for the opportunity. Yeah.
And was it something that you liked straight away? Did you pick up a golf club and enjoy it when you first played? So it's just something straight away from the start you were like, oh, I like this. This is this is cool.
Yeah, I guess I always liked like playing with ball somehow, like even like in school, or like tennis or basketball, like always like when I could do something with ball or see the distance and judge the distance, it was always something that I was like really good at. So I think golf was just the right sport for me. And I do remember hitting the first shot and really like the ball flight, and that the ball actually went far. So I just wanted to be better. I just wanted to be good. Yeah, I had a lot of motivation as a kid. I just wanted to be really good, and it turned out to be the right thing for me.
Yeah. And do you remember your first competition?
I think it was like probably 7 or 8. Yeah. Um, it was really special.
Your local club, or was it what type of
Yeah, but yeah,
competition was it? Yeah.
actually, yeah, it was our local club in the winter actually. So yeah, I had a lot of motivation as a kid. I guess also because we struggled as a family sometimes, like financially, to be honest. So I think that kind of drove me as well, like in a sense, because I couldn't have everything. Like they're like, no, no, like we only getting 3 balls. So like with the 3 balls, I had to go out there and like be able to not lose them, and and that's what I think drives you as a kid, because you was like, okay, well, I really want my balls. So I was always like dreaming having a lot of balls and having a lot of clothes, and that just actually drive me to be better. Yeah, it's interesting, the struggle. There's a lot of struggle.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, what was it like as you kind of got a bit older, wanted to play more competitions, was getting better? What was the junior golf scene like in Czech?
It was amazing. I get to travel a lot with the federation, so I was really lucky. And also I was good, so I get to play all these like international events. And the competition back then was pretty good in the country, and I would always want to be the best. So yeah, and obviously I turned pro very young, when I was 16, which was kind of a surprise because I just wanted to go to Q school and see how it goes and try it. I told my dad, it's like, I just wanted to go out there and just see where I'm at. Like, I never thought I would be actually, like, I would be able to make it. And then I finished fourth at the Q school, and it's like, oh my God, what are we gonna do now? And it was actually the same year of my high school. So it's just wild. I don't know. Crazy journey. A lot of calls.
Crazy journey. You mentioned your brother was a hero growing up. You always wanted to do what he wanted to do. Was there anybody else that you looked up to, whether that's in sport or outside of sport?
Yeah, well, it's funny with my brother because then he picked up like he's a fashion designer now, and he's really into like arts and stuff. And so it's just funny because like once it's like, okay, can you can you show me how to stitch, right? It's like he's really good at designing and also stitching like itself. He is just amazing. And he's like, no, 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 I don't want to show it to you because then you become better than, you know. So it's just like this little bit like competition in between us. And yeah, but he's really good at what he's doing now, so I'm glad. Yeah, anyway, but there yeah, I mean definitely what drove me the most is probably just a local competition like in Czech Republic, you know, because then I could really see where I'm at and like know that like small steps and stuff like, oh, I want to be, I don't know, back then, Michelle Williams, Morgan Pressel, right? I mean, I always wanted to get there, but there's so many small steps you need to make in order to get there that I was always more really impressed by um maybe just like people from my own country.
And obviously, we got quite a lot of Czech players on tour at the minute on the LET.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did you grow out with any of them? Did you play junior golf with any of them? Do you have any stories of any of
No,
them?
no, they're all younger than
Different
I
ages,
am.
yeah. And have they
Yeah,
have
I
they even
mean,
come to you since?
yeah, I mean, I tried. I think it's more like the mental advice. I on mental or just know that I'm also here for them and just I feel like be able to open up and say, "Hey, like if you need anything, I'm here for you. If not, that's fine too, you know." And also just be able to talk about something else than golf sometimes because we spend so much hours just like thinking about golf and playing golf, and it's just nice to have fun sometimes on tour and really just think about something else than golf. So yeah, at the beginning, I actually last year I got back. I set up this like a chat kind of group WhatsApp conversation for all of us, for all the Czech players on tour, and yeah, and so we have this group now, and sometimes we'll like try to support each other or just meet for dinner, share cars, I don't know, share hotels sometimes. So yeah, because when I actually got on the tour, I had my mentor, which was, I can say, Zuzana Kamasová. She's from Slovakia. So, and she was always so friendly, and like I really felt like she was my like older sister on tour. And so it's just have somebody like this. It's just so important. I feel, especially at the beginning, because you're trying to figure things out, and it's so different, and you play so much more golf, and it's competitive, and you travel, and your lives is just all the just it's just so different from the amateur golf. So I'll just try to support them as much as I can, but still do my own thing at the same time.
Yeah, good stuff. And obviously, before you went to Q School at age 16, which just blows my mind, you played in like loads of prolific amateur tournaments. I mean, you played Ping Junior Solheim Cup, Junior
Mm,
Ryder Cup. I mean, I was looking at especially the Junior Ryder Cup today. I mean, some of the names on that team, and you were obviously playing
yeah,
against Justin Thomas was on the other team, John Spieth. Like,
yeah.
it was crazy. So just tell us what was probably your memories from those tournaments and just your amateur career in general. Like, what was your favorite memories?
It was amazing. I mean, also that it was like for me a first time actually playing against Americans, to be
Right, yeah.
honest, because like I would play more European golf, and was just have that experience. Like Sid Thompson was also on the team, I think, in the Junior Solheim Cup, and yeah, I mean, if I could, I would probably do more, like play more against Americans because they're just so good at what they're doing, you know. So yeah, it was amazing. I will never forget. And I remember hanging with the Americans a lot too. Like they're so fun. So we're just hanging out like Europeans and Americans together all the time. It doesn't really matter. We're just there playing and really everybody hanging out together. So it was good.
And then obviously Q School age 16. I mean, how
Mm-hmm.
was that experience for you? Overwhelming? Did you come in not too much pressure because of your age? Just
No,
how was the whole week in general?
no pressure at all.
Must
No,
be nice.
really. I mean, the last few rounds, I have to admit, the last round was kind of stressful.
Yeah.
And I actually remember Susanna because she missed the final day or something. So she got to caddy for me the last day, which is also very helpful because I wasn't feeling really good. I guess like a lot of stress, you know. So I had some like stomach issues on the course. So I was glad that because I would always caddy for myself, like nobody would ever caddy for me. But that day she actually was there for me and just literally just pushing the bag. So that was very helpful. I also remember seeing Tristan over there, our photographer, for the first time, you know. Yeah, it's just really nice, and I always wanted to be part of. I feel like LET is like a big family, you know. We're not too big, but we're growing now, and we're just like a one big family, you know. And it's always LET's been like a family for me. It's amazing.
That's Tristan's second shout out on the podcast now, so he's going to be buzzing with that.
That's cool.
Yeah. What would you say has been the biggest change for you in sort of the last, well, since obviously getting your card at Q School and now to today, the biggest change in your own game and in the LET in general?
I think I keep just growing, you know, as a person as well, and just being a little bit more confident within myself. And it's been 13 years on tour, so and just knowing that some years are better than others, like, and you cannot even really say why. It's just how it is, you know. Um, so it's like been really nice to get the, you know, when you get the momentum and you play good, and it's not gonna stay with you forever. Like it's just how it is, but then just making sure that it's a little bit more consistent all the time, and you can keep making cuts and, you know, finish top 10 or in contention as much as you can. It's quite important for like the longevity, like for the long term, also for your mind. Just to know that, you know, you can do it, and you're a good player. And then LET is interesting because it's also been going, you know, it's been up and down. And after actually 3 years or 4 years being in America, I was so relieved and so happy that LET is in much better shape when I left, you know, because it was just sad for me because we had 30 tournaments and then we dropped to almost no tournaments. It's just like really sad to see the tour struggling. Um and not being here for 4 years and just seeing the tour in such a good shape right now and having all these amazing events, also the concession events with LPGA Tour, also the Aramco events. It just makes me so happy and just makes my heart really like happy because I wish the tour the best. I think it's a great tour. And yeah, I hope it's gonna keep growing. I really believe it's gonna keep growing, and it's gonna be more competition, better players, more money for the players, you know, that's important. And then for the whole tour. Yeah, I love the LET.
We can tell you do, Clara. We know every time when you came back straight away, you were like, I love it over here. I've missed you guys.
Yeah,
We're
that's
just gonna
true.
go back to your first win on the LET really
Hmm.
quickly. Back in 2017 in Morocco. Talk me through that. What was that like to finally get over the line? Obviously, fending off Suzanne, like just getting the trophy.
It was really big for me because I remember the years before I just couldn't really figure out the course. So it's like I just never really played good there. And then that year I just came over, and I also remember being really like mentally strong. You know, I really do believe that those two events I won, I was so mentally strong. It's crazy. And yeah, I just put a good I mean, good last round together. I think I shot. I don't even remember, to be honest, but I think I should like 4 under or something, which is really good at the course, at that course. And I was like, well, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, you just gotta do your best, and that's what you can control in a sense. And there's so many things that you cannot control, because you can do your best and somebody can do better than you, and those are things that you cannot control. So just to accept it the way it is, there's still 130, 40, 20 players. It's a lot, and yeah, it's just
Of
hard to
course, it's
control
golf.
these things. Yeah.
You can only do what you can do. And then
Yeah.
another thing that you've done is representing Czech at the Olympics. Obviously, representing your country is always a proud moment, but what was that like, being able to represent on an Olympic stage? I know that obviously I've spoken to lots of Czech players and they love the winter sports, because you do well in the winter sports and then as well as the summer sports as well now. So
We don't even have like a high mountains. I don't understand. But
but
skiing is the sport.
but what was that like, representing your country, be able to play at the Olympics?
It was amazing because as a kid, I was just so happy that golf is back is back, and it's actually an Olympic sport. It's so important, it's one of the, I don't know, it's just it's gotta be there. It is an Olympic sport, and so I really never ever dream as a kid, being in the Olympics, because it wasn't an Olympic sport, and suddenly now it's an Olympic sport. So thanks God it is. And yeah, it was amazing, because the first Olympics I was like, I had no idea what's going on, like staying in the village, like as like suddenly like everybody's so like supportive, like we're like one team, it's strange. Like for me, it's golf is very individualistic, right? It's just the way it is. It's not a team sport. So just this is just really really bizarre. and then just I think like just knowing that just having the experience already and going into Tokyo was much easier for me, and really get to enjoy it. And I mean, it was a COVID year, so it was also a little sad because we couldn't really do anything. We just literally stayed in the village or the golf course. But it was also good because we really got to focus and just focus on the sport and the actual competition. So yeah, I've loved to be part of the Olympics. I think it's just something to be really grateful for, to have this experience and experience with the best athletes all around the world in all different areas of sports. I mean, it's just something to be grateful for, and I'll probably remember for the rest of my life, and I'll be always the Olympian now. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they can never take being an Olympian away from you. That you'll have that forever and ever.
Yeah.
And I suppose you're hopefully looking forward to being in Paris, and
Yes.
obviously European soil, so maybe some people can come and watch.
If everything goes well, which I hope it will, mentally and physically, then yeah.
Good stuff. And just finally, then, enough about the golf. We got to talk about, obviously, this year you've changed your name. You're now a married woman. We spoke before about the amazing wedding you had over the break, and obviously your honeymoon in Costa Rica. So just, tell us first and foremost, how was it? How was the wedding, and what's it been like, married life?
It was actually amazing. We had so I think a lot of people been to Prague, so we got married at the Old Town Square. I grew up 2 minutes from there. It's amazing. It's an amazing spot to get married. So yeah, we got married in church. And I park in the wedding dress in front of the church, and then now like tourists, thousands of tourists, right? And they're like they realize there's a wedding going on. Oh my God! So they stopped and they made this like a corridor, like a pathway for me, and there are thousands of tourists. So I'm in the car getting like nervous, and I had to walk like 100 yards, 100 meters to the church. So it's pretty amazing because I got out of the car and people like start clapping. People had no idea, just tourists. So then I walk in the church. It was beautiful. It was really beautiful. And then we had the reception, like really close to the Prague Castle. So we had the overview of the whole Prague, and I guess to just have our own wedding in Prague was very nice and very special because that's where we both live and that's where we feel comfortable and home, and we're not home so much. So yeah, and then going to Costa Rica was actually my idea, but also Sean lived there for like 6 months. 20 years ago. So I think we both wanted to go there. I'm kind of a free spirit person. I try to surf a little bit and meditate and if I can live a little bit more simple life. And Sean's very much like that as well. So it was just nice to be back and just spend time in nature and just really like reconnect with ourselves a little bit and have some time off. It was great. We actually got to play a little bit of golf, to be honest. I didn't bring my clubs, but so he worked at the golf course. So we went there to just see the course, right? So we're staying 10 minutes from there. And we got to the golf course, and these people remembered him. Like there's still same people working at the golf course in 20 years. It was amazing. So we got to play like 5 in the morning with the manager of the course of the club. So we rent the clubs and just played 9 holes, and we were like monkeys like jumping like it was just amazing. Yeah, I'd love to come back. Costa Rica is a good country.
And am
Yeah,
I right in remembering you and Sean met on the golf course?
we met at the golf course. Yeah, actually a course where he used to be a member and where I actually started with golf. So it's also because I grew up in that area. Karlstein, there was a LET tournament as well one year. So we had the LET event there. So yeah, I grew up in that area, so it's just destiny, I feel like.
Yeah.
Met at the course we both like and where I grew up, and he was a member. Really nice, yeah.
And we've obviously seen him out on the bag throughout this season as your caddy. Tell us,
Yeah.
how's the dynamic been, especially now you're husband and wife?
I think it's been fine. I think when we spent a lot of time together, like the 5 6 weeks we just did, it's a lot, But it would be a lot for everybody. So, so it was just nice to get some rest and go home and refresh. And I did my own things, and he did his own things. And he's gonna be back in school this autumn, doing his teaching and being back in the uni. So I'm really happy that he got his own thing and he loves what he do, and I think that's really important for his just for himself, for his soul. So it was amazing to spend the whole year together, and he's caddying for me, and obviously the year we got married and we got engaged. But I think it's good that he's going back to school, and I'm more than happy for him. So yeah.
We'll just wrap it up with some very quick fire favorites, Clara. So, what is your favorite food?
Favorite food? I'll go with Italian. I guess I go with Italian. Yeah, that's
Italian.
simple.
Pizza or pasta? Which one? Everything?
I guess pizza. But I meant pasta actually. But so the thing is that Sean's half Italian, and so he loves pizza, and he can just eat pizza all day. So I feel like we have pizza all the time. Yeah, not me.
He's loving the player dining this week then when there's been pizza dinner.
Well, he's loving, yeah, but he's loving the players dining every week. He loves food.
I know you've traveled to a lot of places. You go on holiday in a lot of places, but what's your favorite country that you've ever been to?
Wow, that's so hard to say. I mean, I guess Costa Rica was pretty amazing. Like, because when you go somewhere for holidays, it's very different from the week where you're like competing, so you really get to know the country a little bit and the people and the culture and the food and everything. So I love that. I like going for holidays.
Do you have a favorite type of music that you listen to?
Music, I listen to everything. I mean, to be honest, I do listen to a lot of spiritual music, like mantras and stuff. It just puts me in a nice mode, and just like, I don't know, like I don't know what is the call, but it's very like just like a nice nice music, like uplifting music. I would say uplifting.
Do you have a favorite TV show or TV series?
Not really, to be honest.
No.
I don't watch TV. Like I watch very little TV, so I'm trying to read more now, if I can, if I have my time. So I already spent too much time on my phone, so book is a better.
I was
Reading
saying,
and
do you have
yoga sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I actually been reading some some uplifting and mental like books, you know, that just helps me to get a little bit more grounded maybe, and maybe learn a little bit. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we'll let the defending champion get off to get some more practice or get some rest. Obviously big 4 days coming up. So yeah, Klara, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining us, and thanks for your time.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you around.
Yes.
Thanks, Klara.
Bye.
Amazing shot, get in! It's a competition clinching shot. Whoa! How about that?
The LET Golf Podcast, the official podcast of the Ladies European Tour.